Good evening, folks. Welcome to the Let's Go Fishing Show. And as you can see, I've got my two favorite guests here, and we've got a special guest with us tonight. We were one short. We were going to have two of them, but one gentleman kind of got sick on us, and we hate that. But we've got the one half of the bunch here anyway.
We got the best half.
Yeah.
He's not sick. He's with us.
He's with us. So
That's
we're going to cut to Dan and here in a few minutes, but I wanted to come over and thank everybody for all your kind words, phone calls, wishing me well, this kind of thing. Last week, Bill, because that was a shock to me, and I was really feeling bad there for a while. But
when you called me and told me how bad it was, I said, "Hey, Steve, you remember this?" I said, "Steve, you better not let that go. You better get to the doctor and find out what the problem is."
You did. You really did. And but anyway, folks, I'm getting a little better every day, and I want to thank the Lord for that. But I appreciate everybody, and it's text me, call me, whatever, and I really appreciate you all doing that. And I want to thank Mike and Wesley. They've done a great job last week filling in. As a matter of fact, I'm going to let them fill in for me again here in just a little bit, because I'm going to.
Let me tell you, he has to be feeling pretty good for if you look outside. There's a boat parked out there.
So anyway, I've got them cut out of here in a little bit, and don't want to overdo it. But we got a lot of things going on. I wanted to mention our sponsors, folks. You know, their ad comes up on the screen. We can't do it without them. Service Pro, they're new. We've just had them for the last 3 months, and I hope that you all have gave them your business, you know, and so we can keep them on board with us, because we surely do need them. And Edgemore Outdoors, Reynolds Racing and Marine, Tim's Tires, Citizens First Bank, Pamela Ann's Fudge and Candies. Those folks have been loyal to us for quite a while. Shared Treasures, Mount Pisgah Bible Printing, reason I want to mention that, because they'll be coming up this weekend, I do think, for their telethon, to buy paper for the Bibles, guys. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's they ship them things all over the world, and that paper is expensive, and so they're fundraising, and we do anything we can to help those great folks there at the Bible Printing Ministry at Mount Pisgah. But I did want to say thank you to everybody and that kind of thing. Mike, I've got one other thing. Dylan's got a picture sometime after a while of Jason Foster. He won that, I think it was a Saturday night tournament up there on Norris. Mm-hmm. Had two keepers, a good 3 pound something largemouth and a 3 pound something smallmouth with two fish. It was 3 fish limit.
This was the one fish limit that I know about.
Yeah.
It was Tuesday night, and my friend Richard McIntosh and his grandson,
mm-hmm.
They fished from 6 to 9. And they put in up Cold Creek, somewhere above Lindsay Mill Boat Dock, there back in a holler there that they drive to. But at one fish limit, and Richard and his grandson caught it in the 3 hours. They had to be back in that 3 hours. And they caught a total of 11 fish. They had 3 18-inchers, mm-hmm. but they weighed each one of them, and the largest one that was over 18 inches weighed 2 pounds, 13 ounces.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they already off the nest and everything.
Yeah.
18-incher weighed
with 2 pounds, 13.
2 pounds, 13 ounces.
I've seen that before.
That won the whole thing,
Yeah.
and there was 45 boats in it.
Yeah.
And number 2 was 2 pound 11 ounces. That was another smallmouth.
Mm-hmm.
And the third place was 2.2. And so Richard and his grandson Hunter won the thing, and like I said, 45 boats in it. So 11 fish in 3 hours, that's pretty dadgum good. I'll take that anytime, huh?
Yeah.
Real good. That's
a
good bite, real good.
That's a pretty good bite, Bill. But just like they always do, they come off the nest, they're hungry, they're poor,
You know-
slim. You know, that's just the nature of the beast, ain't it?
Yeah, you know, Steve, I've watched some of these here fishing shows on the TV, and these high-powered fellas fishing. You know, they always show you the catching the fish, but they never show you what they're fishing with. You have to make it
'em.
out the best you can to
Yeah.
see what they're fishing with.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you. Old Richard told me. He said, "I'll tell you what, Bill." He said, "I caught every one of them 11 fish on 2 baits.
Mm-hmm.
We caught them on that little nerd worm that
Yeah.
the fella out in Arizona makes. That what?
Yeah.
Can't think of Yanomoto.
Yoto, yeah.
Hey, that little worm, he caught him on it. I think it's about 3.3 inches or something like
just,
that.
yeah.
And he had a small worm hook, and he hooked that thing weedless with a 1/4 ounce sinker, and they caught him on that and a white Da Vinci bait.
Yeah.
White with silver flake. That's the 2 baits that they used in the 3 hours and caught 11 fish.
Well, anyway, that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me, Bill. And we'll, you know,
The fish, he said, was anywhere from 6 to 12 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it ought to be.
Yeah, that's right. That's what they ought to be, Mike.
Set your boat in 15 foot of water and throw as far as you can to the bank and hold on.
Yeah.
That's the ticket. And it's this time of year when all that's taking place, and we're even having a late spring. So, you know, shucks, last year we'd done been to 3 night trips by now.
Oh
Last
yeah,
year
that's true.
We'd
Well,
been
I'll
up
tell
there
you
catching.
what, I woke up about 2 o'clock this morning and looked out the window, and boy, everything was bright out there. And I said, "Doggone, what's wrong?" I went in there, boy, big old moon up there, and old Steve, he got that boat sitting outside. I said, "Yeah, he's gonna go fish that moon a little bit." I guarantee you'll enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, I sure hope so. Anyway, that's kind of what I got going on. There's a lot of announcements to make here. I did want to prompt our sponsors, folks, because we really can't do it without them, Bill. We got to have each and every one of them, and I like for all of our viewers to patronize them as much as possible, and that kind of thing. And you know, Reynolds Race and Marine. Don't forget, if you're looking for a boat, need some boat repairs, whatever in that line that you're needing, remember them. Tim's Tires. Hey, well, it's any kind of tire you're needing, I guarantee you. And if they ain't got it, they'll have it real soon. But I don't think you're going to find many they won't have. Citizens First Bank, those great people, 5 locations. Edgemore Outdoors, best daggum bait store around.
You can spend a half a day just going down the aisles, just looking and wondering, man, where did all these come from? You'll see some baits that you ain't never seen before.
Yep.
And hey, it's out of this world.
We're-
I enjoy just going
Good,
over
I
out
do too.
and walking down the aisles
That's
and
right.
looking.
Yeah, yeah. Jim keeps everything up to date. I mean, he's always any of these new baits that's coming out or come out. He's usually one of the first to get them. I'll just tell you.
I'll tell you something else about Jim. When you buy them baits, he'll try to every way in the world to help you what they catch them on.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
fact.
he knows pretty well for the boys that's coming in there that's catching fish.
Yep.
They tell him that's they want more what they catching them on.
Yeah.
And
The only
he'll
problem I got out of going over there is whether or not I've got enough room in the boat to put it.
yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Shared Treasure, or Pamela Ann's Fudge and Candies there in Oliver Springs, folks. Pamela Ann and Dan just been great. Eddie Stockton, they just been great with me and supporting us, and you know, they're selling that fudge all over the world. It is just it's their fudge in a different package, somebody else's name, and that's. But you know, when they got the little store there, if you want to go buy a local here, they'd love to sell you some and that kind of thing. So don't want to forget those fine folks. Shared Treasures, Consignments, Lisa Disney, right across from Ace Hardware, Tri-County Boulevard, Antiques, new stuff, old stuff, and flea market availability, just give her a shout there on the phone number that's on the screen. Don't forget the Bible printing ministry, Vans Auto Parts weekly specials going on there on things from batteries, filters, parts for your automobile, this kind of thing there. Don't forget them. And then Service Pro Lube Center, and they got the 2 locations, one on the west end, one on the east end, the Turnpike, and Daniel Van Cleef is the owner of those, and great fella, great business. So, and they do the right things with your vehicle. They do minor repairs, belts on, that kind of thing on the east end. Mainly the west end is just oil changes and lube and that kind of stuff. So don't forget those fine folks. Thank them all. Can't forget them one bit. And so anyway,
they'll remember where to go to when it starts raining and their wipers ain't working good.
Yeah, they'll do your wipers and everything else. Yeah. You know, replace them if you want them replaced and this kind of thing. So, Mike, when I pulled in there a few weeks back with my truck, man, I was all over it. And I mean, it was just a few minutes and they had me ready to go. They equalized the air pressure and the tires, checked the fluids and everything, added a quart of oil to my transmission, just on and on, you know, let alone change the oil and filter and took the air filter plumb out of my truck, took it out there and blowed that thing out, and it looked like a new one.
Yeah. That's right.
You know,
Yeah.
so they do it all, and you're right there in just a few minutes, and you can wait in your vehicle, you can wait in the office there that they've got, so they got it all. They do a fine job, and hope we can continue to have a good working relationship with them, keep them as a sponsor of the show.
Don't forget Dan and Polly.
Yeah, want to say hello to Dad, Polly. Polly's a little sick right now, Bill, but hopefully we'll get her better here in a few days.
She's working hard at it. I'll have to give her credit for that. She's not well at all right now, but she's, like I said, she's coming around. Hopefully everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, I hope so too. We're definitely going to be praying for that and making sure she gets all the help she needs, and us be there when she needs us. Bill's all we can do, ain't
That's right. Yeah.
Tell her I got a carrot to hang out there in front of her, a big old mess of crappie.
Oh man, I done told her you had a mess of crappie, and she's looking forward to that, buddy.
Yeah.
She really is.
But all right, Dylan, you ready to take a little break? All right. Hey folks, I just happened to be headed by Edgemore Outdoors, and I want you to know that they're not at the old location. They're here at the new building, and it's halfway between Bull Run and the old location where they were at, but I'm sure proud to see Jim and Jeannie in this new building, and they've still got some things they got to do, but they've got all their tackle moved in here, got the parking lots paved, and great looking place. Big red roof, you can't miss it if you're here on Edgemore Road, and be looking for them, Edgemore Outdoors. I'm gonna go inside for just a second and get right back with you. Okay, folks, we're here at Service Pro Lube Center at A&W Plaza here. We're going to be a new sponsor of the show, and that's Dan Van Cleef. Proud to have him. Just a little shot of the business, and we're going to get some more info on that there for next week. Pro. They've got 2 locations. Here on the west end, and just want to get you a picture of the business so you'll recognize and that kind of thing. So we'll have some more info coming up, but I did want to get them on the show for tonight. So Remember that, Service Pro. East End and West End, and take care of your car servicing and that kind of thing.
Okay, folks, we're back. Steve's kind of cut out on us a little bit. I reckon he's left it up to...
He couldn't wait to get out of here, could he?
Couldn't wait. I reckon he's left it up to me and Bill to carry on and put up with a good friend of ours, Mr. Dan Nykerk.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Dan.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for having me on the show tonight.
Yes,
Hey, Dan,
Good to be
I
with you, buddy.
tell you what,
Dan,
son, it's been a while
Yeah.
since I've seen you, but like I said, if I hadn't seen you in the last few days or something like that, I forget who
Hey,
you
I
are. and it's
understand,
good name.
Bill.
But I remember Dan now. I remember when I met Dan a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it was a couple years ago.
Yeah, Joe was.
Yeah.
Tell me about the fishing there, son. How's the fishing going?
Fishing's going good, or it was for Saturday. The good Lord blessed us.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah,
I hear you won first place at Watts
yeah,
Bar.
we did. We had a good day on Watts Bar in the Roane County tournament, St. Jude. And here we are.
Oh, that's
I'm
great.
honored to be here.
Oh, we are honored to have you
Hey,
there, son.
I wouldn't be here though if it wasn't for my partner Denny, and I really was hesitant about coming here tonight without him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this right here is all about Denny.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, I have to give credit to Denny, and
Oh, that.
Denny's a real good friend of mine, and he's been a mentor of mine for several years now, woods and water, and he's also a good Christian man.
That's the most important
And
thing.
that means more to me than anything in
right.
the world. So, Denny, this one's for you, buddy.
Yes. Guarantee.
And I'm not going to try to steal any credit because it goes to Denny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that. Well,
And
I
I wish he was here with me. I really do.
I wished he was too. I was looking forward to meeting him. I don't know if I've ever met him or not.
You have. He's met you. It's been a long time ago. He told me a story,
Oh,
but you have met. It's been several years ago. though.
okay.
But,
I've met a lot of people in my time, Danny. I really have. I've met a lot of
Yeah.
people.
Oh, I'm
and,
sure.
And some of them is my very best friends. I hear from people I hear from two people in Arkansas that I've known since back in the 70s, and I still hear from Billy and Bobby Murray.
Oh, is that right?
And Bobby, he won 2
Yeah.
national championships, and Billy was the cameraman for Jerry McGinnis on the fishing hole that Jerry had.
I remember
for
that show.
Yeah.
I remember.
And Billy calls me. I hear from Billy at least a couple of times a week. He's a real good friend, and I've known him for a long
Well,
time.
you yourself are a pioneer, Mr. Nichols, for the fishing around this area. Because I remember as a kid watching you and MB.
Yeah. Well, we had that. We had our show for 7 years, and I sort of try to help these boys right here, and they're doing a whole lot what me and MB done, and we had a good show for 7 years. And if a telephone company hadn't broke up and told me I either had to go fishing or come back to work,
Yeah.
so I had 27 years, and I decided I'd better go back to work, for that was the real thing.
Well, it was a guaranteed paycheck every
That was
week.
guaranteed.
I understand, but
Yeah.
it's an honor to be here, sitting
we-
next to you and Mike.
It's always an honor to have somebody like you. And like you said, we miss Denny
Yeah.
a lot.
I really wish Denny could be here. He's dealing with Parkinson's,
Yeah.
and he's not dealing with it. He's beating it.
That's great.
And so Denny's as strong as the average man with what he's dealing with,
Yeah.
and he's an awesome human being. And I'm so honored to be a friend of his.
I know what you mean. I know about that. I don't know. I've never had it myself, but I got a sister-in-law that's got Parkinson's, and she's been bad for several years now, and it ain't nothing. It ain't no fun to watch him go down.
Well, it's going to take a lot to bring that man down. I can tell you right
yeah,
now.
right.
And I'm going to be right by his side.
I
So-
don't blame you. I would be too, son. Yes, sir.
Nothing like it. Nothing like it. Well, of course, I guess everybody knows Dan and Denny won St. Jude's tournament down there Sunday with
Saturday.
or Saturday, I mean, with 20 pounds.
20.38 pounds.
20.
We were blessed.
20.38.
We were blessed.
That was a
And
real
big
good-
smallmouth.
Yeah, that was.
And it had big smallmouth too.
Right.
I think the closest thing to you was probably around 16.
No,
or so,
there was a second place was 19 and
Was
third
it
was 18.
I thought I
Yeah.
heard.
I believe the guy that had the team that had second place had the big largemouth, which was I think a little over 6 pounds,
I know you had the
know-
big small.
and we had big smallmouth. It was
Yeah.
4.62.
You know, you heard me tonight, Danny, tell, I have watched a few of the shows on TV. I've never met Kevin Van Dam, but I've met his brother, Kenny.
Yeah.
I know Kenny real well. I met him up on Lake Erie and took him out there and showed him where I was catching all my fish. And I left and went and visited a service friend of mine that I was in the service with over in Michigan there. And Kenny and two other fellows that worked for Lawrence went out there and they like to murk my fishing place. When I got back on it, I had a hard time fishing, but they done sore
Caught
lipped
'em
them
all,
all.
didn't they? Yeah, I
But-
believe that. But
But you know, I was telling you about everybody talks about catching the fish, and we see them catching them and everything, but nobody tells you what you're fishing with, and that's the way it was on TV. You see them catching all them fish, but you have a hard time to see what they're catching with. I mean, they take the fish off and throw it back out there, and you never really get to see a good part of it. So tell us what you catch your fish off.
well, it wasn't any secrets. There really wasn't. When the month of May comes around, I like to throw a spinnerbait made by Mike Showalter, Showboats Lures.
Yeah.
I throw it a lot. I didn't bring one with me, but you can look on his website, and he's got a wide variety of colors and sizes. But I'm a big fan of Showboat Lures, and I always have one of his swim baits tied on in the month of May. And
Showboats is right here in Oak Ridge.
he's right here in Oak Ridge. He's local.
In fact,
and
about it, I just passed his place Saturday. I started once to stop, but I needed to get home, and I didn't get a chance to stop. But I've known of him for a long time.
Yeah, Mike's a good guy. Makes a great bait, and I also everything I buy comes from Edgemore Outdoors too.
Yeah.
I stop by there. They've got everything I need, and if they don't have it, they get it.
You're right.
And that goes a long ways with me. So
Oh, it does
tell you
all
that.
of us.
Jimmy's a good guy, and he's very accommodating, and I give a lot to Edgemore Outdoors too.
Yes.
So
We and Mike and Steve and all of us, we spend a lot of time over there talking to Jim, and
he's a good
and
guy.
I've known him for a long time myself. I've known
Yeah.
him for a long time.
Good people.
Yeah,
That's
They've
right.
got a new place over there. It's a beautiful place
Yeah.
they've got now, and
it's really neat.
It is.
Like I said, I could walk up and down the aisles and spend a
Yeah.
half a day over
Just looking.
just having a good time
That's
looking.
true. It's like a mini Bass Pro Shop. You can just walk around and look. So
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Well,
but Saturday though, we did catch some fish on spinnerbait. I guess that's what you were getting around to. Was
Yeah,
asking
yeah.
Me was we did catch some fish on spinnerbait, and we did catch some on top water. Early in the morning, we were fortunate to pull up on a point that the shad spawn was going on, and the fish were stacked up pretty heavy there, feeding on the shad, and we got a limit within about an hour.
oh, that's great.
And then after the shad spawn stopped and the fish pulled out away from the point, it was a grind after that. You just kind of had to hustle and do a lot of jumping around on points on the mouths of bays and stuff like
fish
that.
here and fish there.
Fish there, and you know, we were just fortunate to get quality bites when we got bit after that. So, I mean, I don't really have any secrets to say. It was just we had the good Lord that blessed us, and we had a good day, and we're fortunate enough to put a good bag in the live well early.
Yeah.
And that
How big was that smallmouth, Jack?
it was 4.62.
4.6.
Yeah, and if you can put a good bag in the live well early, it sure does take a lot of pressure off of you.
If you can put a good bag in live well early, you can afford to move around all
You
day
sure
and try to
can.
fish for one
That's the
fish.
truth. Yeah, that's the truth. So, and like I say, I'm giving all this credit to Denny. the guy is a unbelievable fisherman and a human being, and so this is all a tribute to him.
You're right.
And
You heard that, folks. Spinnerbaits, top water there early. Then he put a limit in the boat within an hour, and when you do that, you're hard to beat, buddy. I'll guarantee you that when you put a limit in
That's right.
there in an hour and a half, son, that's what these your high-powered pros wants to do. Put that limit in the boat and then go looking for the one big one.
yeah, it helps. That's
Yeah.
for sure. So, you know, there's a lot of pressure on the water too. So you're fishing a lot of used water as the day goes on. It seems like
That's
too.
exactly right.
So,
How many boats was in the tournament there, Danny? Do you remember?
I think I heard him say 140.
yeah.
140.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's growed a little bit each year.
Well, you heard me say that a while ago on this here one fish limit that they have every Tuesday night. My friend up there Tuesday night won it with one fish weighed 2 pounds 11 ounces, and you wouldn't think that there'd be this many boats that come out on a Tuesday night for 3 hours from 6 to 9 with just one fish. There was 45 boats showed up Tuesday night, and my friend Richard McIntosh and his grandson Hunter won it with a 2 pound 13 ounce smallmouth. It was over 18 inches though, and he had 3 18 inchers, but that was the biggest one of the 3.
Yeah, those smallmouth are, a lot of them, the females are skinny from the spawn.
Oh, yeah.
And they're coming out and trying to recuperate. And
Yeah, that's what.
so an 18-inch smallmouth back in February or March might have weighed 3.5, 4 pounds, but
Yeah.
now they're
skinny.
They're
just-
recovering, and they're a
That's
lot.
right. That's right. They're trying to get that weight back.
Yeah.
And if that bait comes close to them, they think that's something to eat right now.
That's true.
They
They'll
don't.
they'll jump all over it, won't they, Bill?
That's right. That's right.
Dylan, you got that film ready about St. Jude's? Yeah, if you can, go ahead and show that there. I want people to get the idea of how big that tournament's getting. I know that tickled me when I was talking to him before the tournament here. He was talking, I said, you gonna have 200? Oh, he said, that just tickled me to death if we could get 200 in that thing. And I heard him talking about that they'd raised, what was it, over $33,000
That's awesome.
for St. Jude's. And I tell you what, them kids sure need it. And, talking about
He said something, didn't he?
yeah, he said he's getting with it. He's talking about Glen Hill, I believe it was, and some of the others around there that put on the golf tournaments and all the other stuff, St. Jude stuff there, and going on in Rome County, and said they'd done raised over $1 million
Yeah.
the past few years.
That's great. That's great.
Said it cost,
St. Jude is a good thing.
hey,
It helps a lot of kids.
you ain't kidding.
A lot of
You ain't
kids.
kidding. That's what he was talking about. He said, man, it's unbelievable when you go
Yeah.
down there.
He's passionate about it too.
You ain't kidding.
Yeah. That's
You
good.
ain't kidding. I mean, nobody knows what
We
kind
get
of
this
trouble
here
do you have a
Film-
kid
film
in that
started,
kind of
we'll
shape.
let, when it's over with, we'll let Dan.
But just a minute or two just showing what it was down there that morning and everything with all the boats in and stuff. But sure Dan was in that crowd too.
Yeah.
that was unbelievable.
Okay, folks.
There we go.
We're down here. Fished the tournament here. St. Jude's. As you can see, we got 120 or more boats in it. We're getting ready to blast off. Steve couldn't make it. So I got Wesley. He's gonna help me out today. We're getting ready to check through here and get our live wells checked and blast off. So we ain't no big hurry. We're the last boat in the first flight, I think. But hopefully we can catch a few fish today and help this bunch out. So it's a great cause, and I want you to remember to say your prayers for the ones that in trouble down there, and kids especially, and wish the best for them, and hopefully we can raise enough money for these kids. So hang with us and remember our sponsors, and let's go fishing.
All right, we're back. That's just a little glimpse of what it was like out there before the blast off, how many boats was out there and stuff. And
Well, they're right. Well, sitting to my left right here is the man who was in it.
Yeah.
And Dan tells us a whole lot about what happened. You got to be in the water. You got to have your lights on. You got to have your life jackets on, and what place you got to take off where the water's rough and everything.
Well, we were fortunate. We were boat number 8, so we didn't have to deal with a
You
whole lot of
were
rough
fortunate.
water.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, we had to part the logs too,
Yeah.
and the trash going down the channel. That's the only downfall of being an early draw like that. But it's a well organized tournament.
Yes.
And
Well,
you know, there's a lot of people involved to make that happen, and it's one of the better tournaments that I think that there are to fish.
This St. Jude tournament, folks, is all about the kids, and it's located in Memphis, and they take a lot of kids in that's sick, and some of them probably never make it through adult life or anything, and but they spend their time with them and their money, and it's our place to help. Isn't that right, Dan?
And they get the help too, because the fishermen show up. I'm telling you, they're passionate.
yes, sir. They
And
show up.
I give Travis, he does such a good job putting that tournament on. I think I fished every one of them. I think this was the 5th annual this year, and I believe I fished all of them. And it's the one I look forward to every year.
Yes, sir.
It's so well organized. I mean, it's just, you know, there's no stress. You just have to put your boat in the water. After that, it's all, you know, taken care of.
That's right.
So
I'm just glad that there's enough fishermen that's got the heart to go out there and support that organization and help them, because nobody knows the heartache and the trouble that you go through if you've got a kid that's got cancer and you have to
That's right.
look for somebody like that to try to give you some help.
That's right. I
And
agree with you, Mike.
that'll take you to your knees in a hurry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Sure
Sure
will.
will.
So we're so glad that we could help them out.
And
What little bit we do.
not only that,
Okay.
we're glad that we got the man here that won it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. That's
and
right.
I know for sure that he's a supporter of it. For like he said,
Oh, yeah.
he's fished every one of them, and
Yeah.
he's a big supporter of it. And what about the trophy there? That's it for the big fish.
no, the big smallmouth trophy is this one here, and this plaque, and then this is the trophy for the first place finish.
Oh, okay.
And this is my Denny trophy, I'm gonna call it. This is in honor of Denny right here.
Yeah.
So
Well, I tell you, I was telling Dan here a while ago, they've improved them things since back down when I was fishing all them things. Them's better looking trophies than I ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a few of them myself.
they all still have the same meaning though. It's hard work, and you're honored to have them. So you
Yeah,
know.
that's the
Oh,
truth.
yeah.
That's right, old buddy.
Yeah. So
I fished against them. I lost a big tournament down on Chickamauga, and I had a lot of supporters there that was against the man that did win it. That was back when we had 10 fish limit, and that's been, you can tell that's been a pretty good while ago. But I had that thing won till this fella come in there with 10 that their eyes was white, not a one of them alive, and they'd been froze, and the judges wouldn't do anything about it. I had Tom Mann, Billy Westmoreland, Bill Dance, just matter and fire, buddy. Billy Murray, Bobby Murray, they were all just matter and fire because the judges wouldn't do anything about it. But I said, hey, if the man cheated, he knows he did. He
has to
knows if
sleep
he
at
did
night.
or not. I don't have no complaint. So he was first and I was second.
Yeah.
Yeah, back then the money wasn't all that big, but it $2,000 or $3,000 meant a lot of money
Oh,
back in them
absolutely,
days.
I'm sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, guaranteed. A lot of money. A lot of respect went with that too, though.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Though,
That's the
buddy.
thing
Yeah,
about it.
Yeah.
A lot of respect.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
mean, anytime you can.
You get some respect and some you don't. But
Yes, sir.
I had a lot of people there behind me, but the judges wouldn't listen to nobody. So, you know, that was them, and they done what they thought was best, and I couldn't blame them for that. They done what they thought was best, but I knew that it wasn't best, but I wasn't the one that could do anything
Well,
about it. Yeah.
Do you, getting back into the fishing part, do you think that the shad spawn was doing that just in that one area of the lake, or do you think they was doing it all over?
Well, I thought it was very sporadic this year, the shad spawn was. Last year, it was a lot more shad spawn that I witnessed going on.
Mm-hmm.
This year, it seemed like it would be going on in one area, and then you'd have to drive, go down halfway down the lake to see it going on anywhere else, as compared to last year especially. So I think it was key if you could get around it and be in an area where the fish were pulling out away from spawning, and you had a shad spawn going on, you had a pretty good setup to get right quick with it. So, but I didn't see really a whole lot of the shad spawn going on this year. I don't know if it was because the water warmed up quick like it did, or what it was. But I don't know. Did you witness much of the spawn?
No, not really. Not like it did last year.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It was kind of very sporadic, I thought. So
Dale Holly, we got them LY over there, and I talked to Bob Gamble. Bob Gamble been over there about 3 or 4 times walleye fishing, and he said that they had a good LY spawn over there, and just here in the last 2 weeks, well, it's been less than that, 10 days. They come in on the bank over there, them LY and started spawning, and he said, I couldn't catch the walleye because I couldn't keep the largemouth and the smallmouth off my bait.
Yeah.
that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, that's right. But he was really fishing for walleye, and he said it was hard to catch. But I know that he caught 2 dandies he brought them to me. They was both over 5 pounds apiece, and he brought both of them to me, and he had 5 that night. He took 3 and gave me 2. So
That's good eating.
Oh, it sure is, son. Yeah, I'd not got to go. I wanted to go bad, but I'd not got to go. Me and old Mike was over there when the walleye wasn't doing nothing. But, we did catch a few fishing for smallmouth. I think we see Steve caught 1, I caught 1, and I believe there's 3 of them. 3 of us caught. 3 walleye caught while we was over smallmouth fishing. But now we wore them smallmouth out over there, son. We really did. That's been a month ago, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Mike?
Every bit of it.
Yeah.
Right.
But the LY was late spawning this year. They really late. Ordinarily, some of them spawned in March, and I have seen some of them spawn the last part of February, but most of them will spawn in March and April. This year it was the 1st of May and later when most of them start spawning, come in on the bank and spawn.
Right. What do you like the water temperature? What do you think the spawn happens at? Do you know a temperature that?
I tell you what, I think that the LY, they're a northern minnow anyway.
Yeah.
The Great Lakes is full of them, and they brought them in here and turned them loose. They turned them in on Norris, and some of them in every one of the lakes now. But I think that the LY, I think they'll spawn in the 50s, water in the 50s, and late, down up 55, 56. I think that a lot of them will spawn like that. And the shad, it takes warmer water for them to spawn. It has to be in the 60s, close to 70. They like to fish, the largemouth especially. They like that warm water to spawn in. These LY are, like I said, they're a northern minnow anyway, and they'll spawn in a little colder water, and then the rest of them will.
Right. Well, I think that spawn works out good for the bass after they come out from spawning and they're wore out and they're beat up and they're ready to feed up, and that spawn happens. I think that falls
I agree with you.
into their hands to recoup from the spawn that they've just.
Yes, sir. Yes, I think the same thing.
Plenty to eat and easy to get.
Right.
Right. I agree with that, Mike. Yes, sir, old buddy. Yeah. Okay.
But that makes the temperature more important than anything. You having that shad spawn,
especially
like
on
that.
the shad. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Even the largemouth, they got to have that there certain temperature. I think that the smallmouth will spawn in colder water than the largemouth will. I have seen the smallmouth on the beds, and high 50s.
Yeah.
And I've seen some dandies on the bed in that area right there.
Yeah, that 60-degree temperature seems to be like a key number. When it gets
right.
there,
That's right.
they're usually up trying to do their
that's
thing.
exactly right.
So.
Yeah. I went to Wilmington, North Carolina a few years ago, and we was fishing behind a steam plant where the water come out of the river and come through there, and it heated up. And when that water got in there, why, it was already warmer in there, and the fish, every fish in that river come out of there and come in there and spawn.
Is that right?
And yeah, water temperature was up in the 70s. Man, I'm telling you the truth. Me and Monty McWilliams, boy from Lenore City, and me and him, we had a ball. We really did.
I bet you did.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Them shad.
How long has it been
Makes
since
a
y'all went night fishing?
Last year,
Was it back in the fall?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't been since I went with them. I guess last time we went was in about October, wasn't it, Mike?
Yeah.
Something like that,
Yeah,
night
yeah.
fishing.
It's
And,
time to get back out there.
Yeah, we and night fishing right now is Steve. That's the reason Steve wanted to go. The fish is anywhere from, like I said, Richard said that the fish was 6 to 12 feet right now. And of course, as the water warms up, the deeper they're going to
That's
go.
right.
You know, and he wanted to get up there
Right.
while they was 6 to 12 feet, and I like them like that myself.
Yes, sir. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
It's not as hard to fish as it is
No.
25, 30 feet.
No, it sure ain't. What did you find out down there about the bass that was being brought in? Did you see them, most of them all beat up from the spawn, or was they done healing up, or you think there was some of them going on the nest?
The only ones that I saw were the ones weighing in just in front of me that were in the tank, holding their
Yeah.
fish in the tank. I didn't get to see many fish that were actually weighed in, but when I released my fish, I didn't see many of them at all that were dead, and that was a good thing.
Yeah.
So that means a lot of them had survived the day and swam away. So I didn't see any out there floating, and that's always, good to see that. So
About all the ones I got to talk to down there said every one of their fish looked clean and
yeah,
healthy.
ours were very healthy. I didn't see any that were beat up that we had.
Dan, I'm gonna ask you something. We both been in this tournament. Mike has, Steve has. All of us sitting right here has been in these tournaments over the years. They're doing something right now that I really, really like, and I don't know if it'll ever come to that or not. Let's say this right here in Greenville, South Carolina, when they had this here Bassmasters over there just a few weeks ago. There was over 100,000 people showed up. That's a lot. That's a lot of people to see the weigh-in.
Yeah.
And there every day for 4 days, and there was over 100,000 people. Okay, now then, you see these on the TV where they got a man sitting there with the scales, and the fishermen, which is all of them is fishing these here. The BASS, Iconelli, Christie, all of them. I know a bunch of them myself, and they're fishing them, and they catch the fish. They weigh the fish right there, and the man that's in there weighing them, he charts it down what it is.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether it's going to come to that or not. What do you think?
I like it. I do, especially when the spawn's going on.
Yeah.
That's the Major League Fishing format you're talking about.
Yeah.
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 And I'm a big fan of that. I really am.
Well, that's the reason I asked your opinion. I'm a big fan of it too, and I don't want to be the only one that thinks that way. I hope everybody's thinking that way. The fish is what I'm for. I'm for the fish 100%, and every one that we can turn back. And I've been as guilty as the next man. I was raised on them.
Yeah.
And in fact, about it, if I didn't catch none, I didn't have nothing else to eat, and no meat or anything.
Right.
Back when I was growing up,
Yes,
that's
sir.
what we looked for. I kept everything we caught, and I put a knife to it. But now then, I see where I might have been wrong. But back in them days, we never heard of such a thing. But now then that they got this, and I really like it. I really do. Like I said, there's a bunch of the people that I know is doing it, and I see it on TV, and I hope it comes to that myself.
Yeah. Maintenance in your live well, that's probably the biggest thing. You know, they make the chemicals now you can put in your live well, and
Yeah.
I always add a bag of ice to cool the water down a little bit.
Yeah,
Especially when the water's getting as warm as it is now.
right.
And, you know, keep your aerator going all day long.
Yeah.
I think that's important, especially when the water gets up close to 80 degrees. You got to keep the fish aerated.
That's right.
So,
Yeah, we had the guy over here on the show that come up with that cool well deal.
that's a good,
Put
yeah.
in there and recirculate that water through there,
Yeah.
and cool it down for him.
He had a good live well system right there. He really did. And I knew the man. And I really thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, you got to cool that water down and oxygenate that water for them
Yeah,
if they're going to survive on an 8-hour day hauling them around in a boat all day long.
right.
And so I always start out my day with buying 3 or 4 bags of ice, and I cram as much in my cooler as I can. And then
Right.
if I have to bring another cooler to put ice in, that's what I do.
Right.
Because, you know, as 4 or 5 hours pass on, that ice is going to melt and heat back up again.
Right.
You got to refresh it. So
Yeah, well, his theory was that the chlorine in the water of the ice was harmful to the
no,
fish.
but the chemicals counter that you
Yeah.
add to your.
If you, yeah.
It takes away the chlorine and the stuff that the fish emits too.
Yeah.
But, in your live well, it takes care of all that. So
Yeah.
they've come a long ways with maintenance for your
Yeah,
live well and
right.
taking care of your
Yeah.
fish.
Yeah.
Ain't no doubt
What
about
is this? What is this here? Danny, is this anything that we?
I think we read that last week on
Oh, you did?
motor safety stuff.
Yeah, that
and-
hunter- That hunter safety and boating safety?
yeah, it's a
That's
whole
great.
whole week.
Yeah, I watched
of
the
that.
show last week, and I thought that's what was had there last week, and that's a good thing too.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
sure is. It sure is. Well, looks like we still got about 15 minutes. You want to show us them other commercials there right quick? All right. We'll be right back as soon as we get a word from our sponsors.
Hey folks, I'm back here at Tim's Tires, and you saw the intro on the door, and they are also open on Saturdays from 8 to 12:30. And you know, I'm just looking at these tires. They've got lawnmower tires, they've got the small tractor tires, even the big tractor tires, and all these tires right here are for trucks and automobiles, vans, that kind of thing. And they've just got a warehouse full of tires, bringing them in all the time and shipping them out all the time. So if you're needing that set of tires, please come by here at Tim's Tires, Highway 27, going into Harriman. On the left, it'll be on the right if you're coming from Harriman. And like I said, this place is just stacked full of tires, brands, all kinds. Sizes, all kinds, and if they just happen not to have the size or kind you're wanting and the size, just give them a call down here and they'll have it for you, usually by the next day and sometimes by dinner time that day. So remember Tim's Tires, and let them know you appreciate them being a sponsor of the Let's Go Fishing Show.
Country Fresh Foods. You may not know the name, but you definitely know the taste. Our homemade fudge is shipped all over the country. Its quality is unmatched, and it's made right here in Oliver Springs. But you don't have to travel all over to enjoy it. You can get it right here at our retail store, Pamela Ann's Fudge, Candy, and Gifts. The highest quality fudge in a countless variety of flavors. And we also carry a variety of candy and unique gifts for you to enjoy. Come enjoy the taste you have loved for years at Pamela Ann's Fudge, Candy, and Gifts in Oliver Springs, a division of Country Fresh Foods.
They
All right.
really were.
We're back. Still got Bill and here with us, telling us about some of his fishing tales up there in Tellico.
Yeah, that's right.
Catching them
I-
fish
well,
off that
Dan
grass.
here, he said
Yeah.
that he grew up on Milton Hill here.
Yeah.
Well, I was too. I grew up on it myself. In fact, about it, I've been chased off of it, but the game warden a long time ago. And I used to, the county judge there in Clinton used to be. He called me and says, "Hey, Bill, let's go fishing tonight." Well, I didn't know what he was fishing for, but he had a 4-pronged pitchfork, and we would go gigging. And he gigged a big old drum over one night. I saw a gun. I guarantee he must have weighed 25 or 30 pounds. But he took that thing home, buddy, and they him and his daddy, they put the knife to that thing, and then they wanted me to come and have fish with them. Well, that's the first drum I ever ate.
Yeah.
It was pretty good, but I hadn't eaten one since.
Mhm.
But I've catched a lot of them too. Yes, sir.
I hear you. Yeah, Grandpa, I reckon back during the Depression, I reckon anything that moved, they eat it. If it grows or moves,
That's exactly
you
right.
know, they
Well,
killed it and eat it.
I was raised a long time ago, raised up, and fishing. I was 7 years old when North Lake backed up. I'd done been up there on the river and everything, and squirrel hunted with my daddy up there on the Clinch River, and some of it on the Powell. And like I said, I was a little over 7 years old when they backed North Lake up. So I've seen it. I've seen the land up there when there wasn't no water. But in 1957, I got to walk it from Andersonville Boat Dock to Hickory Star and never got my feet wet.
Is that right?
Yeah, 1957 at the lowest it's ever been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of bank to walk.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I walked out of the road going right up through Lawson and everything. Yeah. And I seen the bridges and the culverts, and I've caught some of the fish out of the bridges and the culverts and everything else over the years when the lake used to go down a lot lower than what it is now. Them there fish would hang out on them bridges and culverts.
I bet.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. There's some real fishing up there when that lake goes down.
Yeah. Well, the lake don't go down like it used to. Son.
No.
So I think that there's, we got a lot of houses and a lot of boat houses and everything, and they can't hardly afford to take it down like they used to because there's so many of them, and the people can't get to them. So it went the lowest this year that I've seen it in a while. This year,
You got party down there.
the people had to. Some of them that don't live up there full time, they had to make trips down here to make sure their boat and the boat houses and everything was where they wouldn't sink. I mean, they had to let line out to get them out there where they were supposed to be. Where it wouldn't ruin everything. They couldn't park them on the bank or nothing for it wasn't suitable to park them.
Right.
So they had to come and make sure that everything was right, and I can understand that. But I still like to be able to see it when it's low, for that's when we used to catch all of our fish, Mike.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. I think somewhere in the early 80s was the last time I seen it down when it was real low like that.
It's probably been ever been at that time. So,
Since then, it don't seem like it's got down half of what it used to.
Dan here, he's fishing Milton Hill over here. The smallmouth and the largemouth, they've come alive over in the last few years, haven't you?
I've always said that Milton Hill has always been the hidden secret for smallmouth fishing, and I hope it stays that way.
Oh, I know, yeah.
There's a lot of good smallmouth fishing on Milton Hill, and I think largemouth. Well, they're catching them 10 pounds now over there. That guy, one guy had one that weighed 10 pounds.
Yeah, that's what the game warden here the other week was telling us.
That's a testimony to the quality of the lake.
That's right. That's exactly right. Joe is, old buddy. Yeah. Well, I know a couple 7-pound smallmouth that's come out of it myself.
Yeah.
I didn't catch them, but I know about them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes me want to go down there and try to catch one of them.
Yeah, there's some good smallmouth fishing.
Well, I'm a Dale Hollow man myself and have been for several years. I love to fish Dale Hollow, but I know for sure that it's got a lot of good ones in it. And my second choice was Norris. I watched it grow I grew up on it, and I've catched a many fish out of it.
I'm
But
sure.
Milton Hill, I've caught some good smallmouth out of it myself when I got to fish it like I wanted to fish it. But
Yeah.
I hadn't got to fish it in a long time. I hadn't got to fish out of them like I wanted to in a long time, but I still enjoyed trying it anyway.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. That's something else. You get up there and get your arm jerked off.
Yeah, that's the truth, though, buddy.
I mean, you know, so some reason or another, though, the fish just seem like they've changed over the years from the baits that we used to use back then to what we're using now. It don't
Well-
seem like they get aggressive as they used to.
Well, the plastic baits has come out.
Yeah.
You know, back when we was having all of our good success, wasn't no such thing as plastics.
No.
You know, we had pork rind. I fished for a man that made the first pork rind out of Bowling Green, Kentucky, and he was the first man. I fished with him on Center Hill, way back yonder, Uncle Josh.
Mm-hmm.
And after he sold it, I still got to fish with him. And Porter Wagner, I fished with Porter Wagner, and I wore old Porter out with that there pork rind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But like you said, Mike, fishing has come a long ways with the baits that we got today.
Yes.
Sure has.
That was,
I don't know whether it's the baits or the fishermen. I got some old baits that I really believe that'll still catch fish if I just take time to throw them.
Oh, yeah.
hey,
That's what you got confidence in, isn't it?
that-
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, confidence is what you got to have when it comes to
Right.
fishing.
We
Oh,
just
yeah.
couldn't wait for the weekend to come when we could go up there and throw that spinnerbait out there at night and crawl that thing across that bottom and just have one just hit it and then
Yeah.
knock the rod just about out of your hand.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna, what a fish, you know. He might not be but 12 inches when you got him in, but man, he was aggressive.
That spinnerbait, I used to love to fish it. I don't get to fish it as much as I used to, but the worm, you know, the worm is the number one bait.
Oh, yes,
now,
sir. Yes,
and
sir.
it probably still is, really, when it
Oh, yeah.
comes down to it. That worm will still catch fish.
Mm-hmm. No
Sure
doubt.
will.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
And it's getting time to use that worm right now.
Yeah. Well, you know, Richard and them caught them fish there Tuesday night. They had 11 in 3 hours, and they caught them on that little nerd worm, and with a small worm hook and a 1/4 ounce sinker.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went to that little Dimensi bait,
Yeah.
white and silver,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what they caught all their fish on. And like you said, Mike, and then the times has changed. Time
Yes.
has changed. There's a lot of baits. I run into a family over in Dale Hollow 2 years ago, and they had a little boy and a little girl, and that little boy, he was an expert little caster, and they was throwing that worm, and I was fishing a place, and they come up there and says, "How long are you going to be here?" And I said, "Well, tell me what you want." Said, "We caught the far out of them fish right here yesterday, and said we'd like to fish it today." I said, "You come right ahead and fish it." Now, I said, "I'm gonna pull out here and watch you." And I pulled off out there and sat there and watched them. And sure enough, they was fishing a little 4-inch worm and a little old bitty body worm on. And I tell you what, they caught the fire out of them
Yeah.
fish.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, folks, it looks like we've run out of time here tonight, so maybe you tune back in with us next week, and hopefully we can get some more film, and maybe Steve will catch one.
I hope so, and remember our sponsors, son.
Yeah.
Be sure and remember them. We couldn't have this if it wasn't for them.
Yeah. So appreciate you staying tuned, and hope to see you next week. God bless you.
Thank
and
you,
have a
Dan,
good
for
night.
being here with us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Dan, appreciate it, bud.